Lucas, congratulations on the win, man. 4-0 in Bellator. Coming into this fight, you told me that you kind of were excited about it because it gave you a new body type, a new type of fighter to compete against in the cage. How do you feel like you passed that test?
I feel great about it. You know, I like my performance. There was a thing or two that I had to adjust for midway through. I knew in the first round that I wasn't going to submit him. He was very durable, and I could tell when I was grabbing on his neck whenever he didn't mind it a whole lot, and I didn't want to play with it and gas myself out. Very strong. I got to strike a little bit more. I'll get to go back and watch Josh Thompson critique me real hard. He did that last time. We made some memes out of it between our family roasting me. But, I am happy with my performance. I wish I could have gotten a stoppage, but it is what it is.
And I'm sure as you take each step in your progression, you kind of have an idea before you get in there, like, hey, I want to go in there and have this kind of performance. Do you feel like that was the right next step for you?
Yes, I do. I'm very critical of how I like to go about it from beginning to end. I plan out all my fights for decision, just in the event that first round doesn't go how I want it to, or the second or the third. And I like how the plan went out. He was very durable. Strikes too. I know they were checking him before the third round. I'm not 100% sure what it was about. I think it was just to make sure that he was there. But yeah, man, he was tough. I try to fight a tough fight, and I'm happy with my performance. But I'll watch it later and really critique it.
And I know every fighter kind of wants to go in there and get a finish and be quick, but is there something to be said about going in there for 15 and improving yourself something?
Oh, I like the experience. All my amateur fights were three rounds, but they were shorter rounds, and so that experience is just slightly different. I was fighting 3-minute rounds, tough enough. I was fighting 2-minute rounds, and so they're very short. I like getting 3-5s in, just even if it's not a finish, just that ring time.
And last question for me: where do you think you go from here? What's next for Lucas Brennan?
I'm just looking to get another fight. I want to see where the next venue will be, if they'll still be here, if they'll be somewhere else, and just kind of look around, get more fights. I like moving up in the experience. I'm not here to call out anyone. Obviously, there's a featherweight tournament going on, but I'm not. I'm realistic of where I stand, and I would like to work my way there.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Jonah?
Hey, Lucas, how's it going?
Hey, doing good, man.
So I wanted to ask about the first round in particular. It certainly did look like a veteran in there with a 20-year-old. Maybe the reverse, though. You were very dominant. It was a 10-8 round on two of the judges' scorecards. Talk to me about how you felt in there. I mean, obviously you were looking for that finish with the inverse triangle.
I forgot about that.
How did you feel there? But when you didn't get it, you were well able to get out of that position. It was very much a veteran move.
I wasn't sure if I was really going to commit to it or not. He started coming out the back on a double leg, kind of like sliding out the back between both legs, which is a position I used to wrestle a lot in wrestling. And so, I liked getting back into that sort of position there. I wasn't sure if the choke was tight. I felt once his head start to slip out, and I knew that he was probably going to get out of it at some point. I needed to get myself in a position that was recoverable. And, there's no crowd, so I can hear my coaches, I can hear my dad almost the entire time saying the same thing. And so, I made sure to land a few good ones there while he was unable to defend them, but I made sure my position was recoverable. I had a good round. I liked it.
I might break your heart a little bit here. We were watching the broadcast. Josh Thompson wasn't too critical, to be honest with you. He said that he had to split hairs to find any problems with the performance. So what does it mean to hear something good like that from a legend, Josh Thompson?
It's cool, man. He's one of my dad's favorite fighters, favorite all-time fighters. My last fight, man, he said there was a couple of things that were totally understandable. I'm not saying he was bad or anything. He was absolutely correct. He was just very critical, and I was like, okay. And then he went and did his podcast with Big John. They're saying a couple other things, like, yeah, he's all right at this, and he's all right with this. And I was like, he's right, but And then my brother, they must have said something about my family. My brother texted in. He's like, make sure he knows I'm a black belt, not a brown belt. It was just, I haven't listened to it. I don't know what he said. I could hear him and Big John. I was on a single, and he's like, oh, you should run to his right or something. I was like, I don't want to run that way. But I just, he's obviously amazing. I love him. I was just trying to, be funny.
You know what? You said you're not going to call anyone out tonight. I think the call out should be to Josh Thompson and to Big John to get you on this podcast as soon as possible.
Oh man, it'd be cool, man. I like both of them a lot. My dad has 20-something years of experience knowing Big John from the Gracie Academy and stuff like that from way before I was even conceived, and so it's cool history.
Thank you very much, man. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Simon.
Hey, Simon Romero here. First of all, congratulations on the win, my man. Earlier you mentioned that your father was in your corner for most of your fights, and this fight especially, but I want to know, what is it like having your father, since we saw Hoist Grace's son was just competing before your fight? So talk to me, what was that like?
It's very interesting, let alone the fact that it's my dad, and I like to, have to point out he fought for a very long time. He's had his black belt since before I was born. He's extremely experienced in jiu-jitsu. Lived at the Gracie Academy with Hoist and them, taking privates with them every day. Henzo, I didn't know Henzo was going to be here. I've been seeing him off and on since I was a kid. I know they're very cool, and it was awesome. And yeah, I think it was today, 27 years ago, the first UFC. And so I get to see Hoist a little bit, see Connery, and see we're kind of in that like trying to be our dad's position. It was interesting. I really like it. I like the aspect.
And another thing you talked about was that ice cream. What ice cream are we going for after you get up the stage here?
There's a Ben & Jerry's right out the front door over there, and I'm right to it. I know they're open. I run right over there, grab some ice cream, grab some milkshakes, and move up a weight class or two for a day before I bring it all back in.
Hey Lucas, Keith Sherman from Sherdog. Congratulations, you look sensational tonight.
Thank you, sir.
We were just talking about your father. He's an OG of the sport, definitely a pioneer, especially for the smaller weight classes. Do you feel confidence coming from a legacy like that, or do you feel like more added pressure? As soon as you come in, you're not a 3-0 guy, 4-0 guy. You're the son of someone who's been so accomplished.
There is a mix of emotions there. I find that there is added pressure. He tries his best not to add any pressure to me. He tries not to impose any of that on me as best he can. But it is there just a little bit, just because I know he was very successful and he's very respected in the jiu-jitsu department of the world, and so I try and have as much fun with it as I can, and I push that pressure aside. I love what I do, and I like to be able to keep doing it as pressure-free as possible. I like to be able to enjoy it, not to get too many gray hairs out of it.
Lucas, I believe you're only 20 years old, and you're doing things that very few 20-year-olds are doing. A lot of 20-year-olds are out partying, making dumb decisions. You're staying very focused. What do you do to keep yourself so grounded?
I've immersed myself in training, and my friend groups are all people that do jiu-jitsu and other fighters that I train with. And a lot of my friends are like 30 to 40 years old guys that fight and do jiu-jitsu and whatnot. And I've even when I was in school and whatnot, I was just at the gym every day, and I found that I like that environment a lot, that society, that like close-knit group of people that I've formed some bonds with, and I just stay training, man. And it does get tiring, and there are like burnout days where you just need to take an extra day and chill. But I've completely immersed myself in that environment, and I really love it.
Yeah, last question, real quick. You mentioned the featherweight tournament. You're obviously in that weight class. You said you're a long ways away before you face those guys. But how much do you watch that tournament? How invested are you in that tournament?
I've watched it a lot. I am not totally invested in it, only because there's only a few of the guys that I'm very familiar with. I know everyone that is in it by name, but there's only a handful of guys that I've really watched since I was young, since before I was able to fight. And so I've watched all the tournament, but I'm only really into a couple of the fights. Tonight's fight will be awesome. I think next week, I believe it's next week or the next card. It's AJ McKee and Caldwell. That'll be exciting. I'm actually really excited for that fight. I like both of them. But yeah, it's an awesome tournament.
Last question, Santiago.
Hi Lucas, congratulations on a beautiful performance. That was very dominant.
Thank you, sir. You
are still a young man in this game. How often would you like to fight in 2021?
I aim for, I like to get at least 3 a year. 4 wouldn't be anything to complain about, but I like at least getting 3. I was supposed to get 3 to 4 this year, and then, at a fight in February, guy dropped out day of the fight, and then there was, the COVID kind of break in the middle there, and it just kind of screwed up the timeline for things. But, at least 3 fights next year would be awesome.
Enjoy the victory, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Lucas. Congratulations.
Thank you.